welcome to Around Town with Rotary. My name is Mike Harrington, member of the Beverly Rotary Club. This monthly show is produced to give people around the city a good sense of the people and organizations that are associated with the Beverly Rotary Club. I'm delighted here today to introduce, first of all, my co-host, Al Temkin, and Al's going to introduce our special guests here today.
Thank you, Mike. It's my pleasure to introduce both Joe Broderick, Chief of Staff, and Dr. Kurt Steinberg, President of Montserrat College of Art. Thank you for joining us here today.
Great to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Perfect, thank you. So before we get into talking about the college, let's learn a little bit about each of you. Dr. Steinberg, I'm going to start with you. So kind of give us your background. Where you from? What brought you to this area? What's the kind of the background?
Well, sure. I've been in Massachusetts, got married and ended up here. My wife is from Lexington, Mass. I'm from Buffalo originally, then ended up here. So we've been here for almost 30 years now in the Commonwealth. And prior to coming to Montserrat, I was in Boston, where I was executive vice president and interim president at Massachusetts College of Art and Design. And so opportunity came up, and I'm really glad, and I'm in my 5th year here at Montserrat College of Art in Beverly.
You've been here 5 years already?
Yeah.
Wow,
I
that
know.
went by fast, huh?
Yeah.
Man,
I'm glad you
man.
feel that way.
Well, I do feel that way, and I also feel that we're very lucky to have you here, so thank you for the great
Appreciate
work
it.
that you're doing. Joe, background?
I was raised mostly on the North Shore. My family's from the North Shore. We lived in Maryland for 5 years. My dad worked for the Boston Globe, and he was in the Washington Bureau. We moved back here, and I graduated from Masconomet Regional High School and went to UMass Amherst and spent 10 years at the Salem News as a newspaper reporter, which was a ton of fun back in those days. And then came to Montserrat when there was an opening for a part-time PR person, and I've been there now for 34 years and have done many, many jobs at the college, and I'm now chief of staff.
Wow. And well-deserved and well-earned, I happen to know personally.
Thank you.
And Dr. Steinberg, your educational background, so I know you were at the College of Art in Boston, you just said that, but what's your educational
Yeah,
background?
sure. I went to undergraduate and graduate school at Syracuse University, and then had my doctorate from the Northeastern University in Boston.
Terrific. Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
That's a lot of work.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about the college, particularly maybe for some of our viewers that aren't familiar with the college and what you folks offer. What are some of the degree programs, the areas of study that you folks primarily offer?
Sure. We're both a design and fine arts school. When we were founded back in 1970, the majority was a fine arts school, but lots of that has changed over time. And so really over 70% of our students are now majoring in what they call media arts and design programs, and then the balance is in fine arts. So the full breadth of fine arts, as we all know it, painting, printmaking, a number of other 3D and sculpture. And then on the design and media side, we have a very, very, one of our biggest departments is animation and illustration. Students from there tend to go into gaming, can go into animation, can go into book development. Anything that has to do with narrative tends to be a thing that happens. And then graphic design is another big popular major at the college.
So it sounds like it's probably a lot more broad than maybe some people would necessarily
absolutely.
think of when they think of a College of Art.
Absolutely.
You mentioned your students. Can you tell us a little bit about the population of students? How many, for instance, students do you have, and where do they come from, and that type of thing?
Yeah, they come primarily from New England. But we actually have a growing population, especially in the last, I'd say, 8 years or so. The diversity geographically has really gone up, and we've have our first international students in the last few years that we've been able to welcome to campus. Internationally, we've been drawing small amounts, but it's more than we have in the past. India, the Bahamas, and Japan have been what we've been doing. Japan's been a longtime partner. We've had some students off and on over a number of years from there. But we're really happy about that. We believe actually our India population is going to grow over the next few years. I go there in November to continue that process of recruitment. We're 70% women, which is not well known, and so the school itself, I think, has a real obligation to supporting women and women in their careers and being able to show them the possibilities of what they can do when they graduate. That to me is incredibly important. So our students, I'd say, are it's a pretty diverse group of people and becomes more diverse as each year passes. And so I think we feel incredibly welcome. We have a large LGBTQ plus population. And I do want to say, especially on this show, that I think the students would all say, and I know the faculty would all say, that the city of Beverly is incredibly welcoming to every single student that we have on our campus. I'm really amazed at just how just calm and how they feel like they fit in, and everybody along Cabot Street is welcoming every time they go into a restaurant or go into a place of business. And that's a real positive for the city.
Well, you know what? But it's a positive both ways. I mean, when school opens up and the students move in, it brings a vibrancy
Yeah.
downtown.
Yes.
Right. I mean, the town just seems to light up just for having all the kids running around and doing their stuff. I think that's important, just as important for
Yeah.
us as it is for anybody else.
Yeah, usually the business owners are asking me probably at the beginning of
Yeah.
August, when's everybody coming
Sure,
back? It's
sure.
too boring downtown.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a super positive. And the other thing I do want to say is, I was in Boston, totally different dynamic with the school than what we've got in Beverly. And what really struck me was when we had my first commencement, and the mayor addressed the students, got up there and said, you will always be a citizen of the city of Beverly. And we want to make sure you stay here, that you live here, that you participate in the economy. There are not many colleges that can say that you have a city government that's embracing of the students. There are
Great
a
point.
number of them that want to get them moved out as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So I think it's a really good, mutually beneficial relationship.
That's terrific. Joe, this might be a question for you. How many faculty and staff do you have supporting students?
Just about 100.
About 100
Between all the
people.
faculty and staff, some some part-time. So we
Yeah.
have 20 full-time faculty, and then we have many adjuncts, and then we have a lot of full-time staff, but we also have part-time. And then there are seasonal people, like a recruiter who would come in for season. So, and right now, all the recruiters are out on the road,
Yep.
spanning the country,
Perfect.
bringing us in new, wonderful students for
Love
next
it.
year.
Love it, love it, love
But
it.
I would also add on the residential part of our campus that we're 85% residential, and the students live in residence halls with kitchens, and they make their own food, and they have really integrated into the community as a result of that.
Yeah.
When we first moved downtown we used to be up at the North Shore Music Theater. It was a conscious decision to make the students like citizens of the downtown, and not just, I live in a dorm, I'm getting my food at the dining commons, I don't have to participate in the life downtown. So they really take part in the life downtown, they work downtown, they shop downtown. So they really are drivers of the economy downtown.
So it's interesting. That leads me right into my next question. Clearly, Montserrat has significant economic impact to Beverly. So can you speak a little bit about that? How does that?
Yeah, sure. I think just the last time we did the calculation, we have about a $27 million economic impact on the city of Beverly. And if people want to know sort of where that comes from, that goes in the wages that we pay. That also goes in the spending that you calculate based on your presence in the downtown. And then it multiplies off of that. And then we also have a number of, if you look at where a lot of our staff live, they live in the immediate area, so they're also continuously participating in the life of the city. They're going to the Cabot, they're going to, off Cabot, they're going to the different venues, North Shore Music Theater, and spending their money here in the city.
$27 million.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's considerable. Are there any other ways you want to speak of in terms of where they integrate themselves into the local community, or in terms of activities or outreach, or any other types of things that you really come to mind?
Sure. We actually have a community connections committee that we started probably a couple of years ago now, and that group really is it's made up of students, faculty, and staff, and is about connecting our population to different things in the city. So we've done some food drives, we've done some things with bootstraps, for example. We also have done some things with the senior center. Before COVID, we started having conversations with the local VA, and hopefully going to get those conversations up again to really try to also introduce the students to that population, because I think there's some real good that can be done. And then we also do a lot of partnership with the Y and a number of other places.
Terrific. Hey, folks at home, we're just going to take a short break here now. We have a video we usually run about mid-show. Gives you a really good sense of all the different types of people and projects that are associated with the Beverly Rotary Club. So we ask you, please take a few minutes, watch this great video. We'll be back with you in just a couple of moments. Thank you.
We raise a lot of money for Beverly organizations.
And they bought us our refrigerated van.
They made a significant contribution to the restoration of Ellis Square.
They helped us house a family experiencing homelessness.
They bought us our bookmobile.
They were actually the first ones to donate instruments to the high school band.
They bought oxygen masks for our rescue dogs.
They helped buy our school bus.
They fund the annual Brad Gage Ice Cream Social at Lynch Park every summer, and they even scoop the ice cream.
Since 2014, they've supported the Cabot, funding preservation of this historic gem.
They helped to fund the Council on Aging van.
They were a major donor to our new infant toddler playground.
They bought an emergency generator for Harbor Lighthouse.
We funded and built the gazebo.
And we've got a green thumb.
A lot of green thumbs.
A lot of green thumbs.
Not to mention sculptures.
We planted more than 100 trees last year.
They donated a shuttle bus stop that brings veterans to the VA hospital in Bedford.
We're going to buy a water drone to clean plastics out of Beverly Harbor.
They make a big difference for United Way.
We give up to 8 scholarships.
8 scholarships every year since the mid-1980s.
And I was a recipient, and thanks to their help, I was the first in my family to go to college.
It's more than just a local organization.
There are 33,000 clubs
in 200 countries with 1.2 million members worldwide.
All that good adds up.
Those do-gooders just keep doing good.
We funded 13 wells in Kisumu, Kenya, bringing water to 13 schools.
We contributed to Kalusha School in Pakistan, and later to the construction of a fabulous women's college.
Hi, I'm Izzy Polito.
I'm Mirabella Polito. I'm Andrea Polito. And we're all youth exchange students.
We started the youth exchange program 13 years ago, partly because I was also an exchange student in 1979.
I'm Aku. I'm from Finland. They hosted me as exchange student.
We funded Dr. Gordon Sato of Hamilton, who devised a way to grow trees in salt water in Senegal, Mauritania, and Eritrea.
Our club has funded at least 20 life-changing surgeries around the world.
And we've participated as non-medical volunteers
in the Philippines,
in Bolivia,
and Venezuela.
And remember,
since launching the Polio Plus campaign over 30 years ago, the number of polio cases worldwide has dropped 99%.
In 2019, clubs in the district joined the Polar Plunge to eradicate polio. The clubs raised $90,000.
Can we get back to Beverly, please?
Over the past 10 years, we've raised, probably about $100,000. Try $400,000.
Over the past 10 years, we've raised over $1 million.
I have made some wonderful friends.
It's downright inspiring.
It's an important part of my week.
It's a very important part of my week.
Sometimes it's the best part of my week.
It's one of the best things I do.
Even if people still ask about the secret handshake.
Welcome back to Around Town with Rotary. Our special guests here today are Joe Broderick and Dr. Kurt Steinberg from Montserrat College of Art. We're talking about all things Montserrat here today. And hey, folks, we were talking a little bit about the school. We understand, Al and I, that you've won some pretty big awards lately. That sounds kind of impressive. We'd love to hear more about that. Can you talk about that?
Sure. Yeah, you got it. We were named in 2 categories in U.S. News and World Report rankings for the first time ever for the school. So we were listed in North College region, which is great, and we ended up sort of in the ranked 28th after not being ranked at all, which is the middle of the pack, which we're very, very happy with, a big leap. And then social mobility, which I'm really, really proud of, because what the social mobility ranking says about the college is that when you come here and you graduate, we are transforming, we're bringing you to the next economic level. And that's really what social mobility is measuring. So what kind of impact are you having for the future earnings of your graduates? And so that to me is a crowning achievement for the institution. And that's something that people really understand that art and design school really does. It's not a place where you become a starving artist. In fact, I really dislike that phrase because we're about supporting a creative life and about doing really positive things because we want you to be someone who can achieve your dreams and your goals when you graduate, because that's really what college is supposed to be about. And so we take that quite seriously and have been for a long time before I even showed up. So,
Congratulations. Those are terrific awards.
Yeah.
The first one you mentioned, you 28th, what's the measurement of that?
So the measurement of that is they take a look at basic measures of graduation rate. They look at retention. They look at value. They're also looking at like student placement and awards by faculty, a whole bunch of different dynamics that measure quality of program.
I see, okay. And you came in 28th after never having been on the list.
I've never
right?
been on the
Isn't that
list.
great? Congratulations.
So we're pretty happy.
And we won the Greater Beverly
Most
Chamber of
importantly.
Commerce
Most
Large
importantly.
Nonprofit of the Year award this year.
Yeah.
We're very happy about that.
Which was a huge achievement by the faculty and staff in total. So that's really a real recognition of all their effort collectively.
It sure is. It sure is, and it's certainly well deserved. Do you have public galleries?
We
Yes.
have several public galleries. Our biggest one is the Montserrat Gallery. It's in the Hardy Building at 23 Essex Street. And we actually have a gallery opening Friday night from 5 to 7 that the public is welcome to come. There's an unbelievably wonderful comics show in there with a different twist. So you have to come and see it to understand it. There's always, when we do these gallery shows, we always give some educational outreach to the people who are coming to see them so that they understand what they're looking at, which we find to be very helpful because not all art is equally understood.
Yeah.
So, but we also have several other public galleries. We have the window galleries on our 301 Cabot Street building. There's two big windows there, and there's always art on display in those two windows, and those artists are chosen, I think, about monthly. Those shows change. And then we have the Schlossberg Gallery, which is also in the Hardy Building, and then we have one that's a student gallery that's in our 248 Cabot Street building, and some others that move around campus over the course of the year. So if people look at the website, there's a lot of opportunities to come in and hear an artist lecture. All of those are free, and to participate in the life of the galleries and meet the students.
And the college itself, I think really important to say that the college is completely open to the public this year. Especially in this post-COVID space, it's good to make sure that everyone understands everyone's welcome to come onto campus and to see all the great things that are happening inside the buildings.
Good point. Thanks for sharing that. Is the college involved with other public programs, or do you have other public programs that people can participate in?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that we do is in the summer. We're basically a 12-month operation. When the students leave, we open up again and we do a workshop for art educators, which actually come from all over the country to participate in a 2-week master class, which they stay in the dorms and they use all of our facilities. Then we have a pre-college program where you can earn college credit over a 3-week period. And rising juniors and seniors in high school are eligible to be in that. And we get actually a number of people locally will participate in that program, as well as from other parts of the country. We get people as far as Miami and New Orleans and Arkansas and Arizona and California come. And then we have the STEAM program, which is mainly for middle school students, which is a very local program. We get a lot of good word of mouth on that, and that's become a very popular.
STEAM?
STEAM. So it's basically technology, engineering, science, art, and math.
Oh, cool.
So it's it's creative learning. They don't know they're learning because they're creating.
Right.
So
It's fun learning.
They sneak in the learning.
So we're using art and we're using creative aspects to also teach the concepts of science, technology, engineering, and math.
Terrific.
Hey, you folks just touched on COVID earlier. Obviously, we're coming out of a really messy, challenging time. How did COVID affect the college?
Well, overall, I think we took very seriously our responsibility to the greater community around us to make sure that we were creating a health and safe environment, not just for our students, faculty, and staff, but also to make sure that we weren't accelerating anything or doing anything that could harm the neighborhood we also knew that our students needed to be in our buildings and in class in person, especially after the lockdown, because we really saw the disparities between the students when they were at home trying to take these classes. And honestly, a lot of our classes aren't something you really can teach remotely exceptionally well. There's a number of them you can do, but you really can't effectively teach a lot of our studio classes effectively over the thing. So for us, that was a reaffirmation of what we're doing actually is the right way of teaching what we're teaching. The students were absolutely ecstatic about being able to come back to campus. And we had very low incidence of infection on campus during the main period of COVID because of the fact that everybody was responsible and did what they needed to do to keep each other safe, which is one of the things that I think is great about our community. And they cared about the outside place of Montserrat. On the other end, financially, we were really able to, I think, flourish during that period of time. We have more money in the bank than we've had, I think, ever in the history of the school. And we were able to increase endowment by 300% over that period of time.
Oh, good for
you.
you.
So our friends have been really generous during that period of time, and it really was great for our staff and our faculty and even our students to see the amount of generosity that came from the greater community to support the institution.
Well, it sounds like you got through that in good shape. It sounds like you folks did a really good job. Hey, tell us a little bit about your alumni. It's such a creative college. Can you give us maybe examples of some of the types of jobs that people end up in, or maybe even just a couple of specific examples?
Sure. One of the ones that we've been talking about a lot, we sort of debuted at the last Outrageous, is Zoe Blue. So Zoe graduated as part of the class of 2020. Zoe came from a foster care background, had RISD, Mass Art, and Montserrat, and she ended up choosing Montserrat. She tells this all the time with great pride, primarily because we gave her the best financial package. And, she was already, as a senior in high school, understanding what it meant to pay those loans back, what it meant to have to do that. And we were the most affordable option of the three. So she came to us, and she doesn't regret it at all because what she's doing now, she was a sculpture major. For us, that's also a design area where we teach them some things that we always feel like a graduate of our sculpture program is a little superhero when they leave. And she proves it because she took the skills, and she'll tell you that program taught her and made her be able to take the job that she has. And what she does now is she does sonic welding, and she makes pressure suits for the Air Force, and she makes astronaut suits for NASA. And she tells you it's all because of the training that she got at Montserrat. And that's the kind of stuff that we're able to do. You can dream about this next thing, and you can achieve it. And we give you that fearlessness to be able to go grab what you want. So.
That's wonderful.
That is terrific. What are, since we're talking about Zoe, and I'm sure there are so many other examples, what are some of the things that the school does to help students and prepare them and get them ready to get out there?
I think what's great is we were the first standalone art and design school in the country to actually make an internship a requirement. So you cannot get a diploma at Montserrat until you complete a 120-hour internship. So for us, it's really important, and we've seen that as a real game changer for a lot of our students. Gives them that competitive edge when they graduate. And then we added, this past year, we got a grant from the Davis Foundation to establish a mentorship program, one-on-one mentorship program, and that's been great. And what we've seen in this last year, we saw a 15% increase in students getting a job offer before commencement in this last class that graduated last May. And I think that really has a lot to do with the mentorship program, coupled with the fact that we have just grown the internship program a lot in the last few years. Beth, who runs it, has done an outstanding job, and we see the results already.
It's terrific. That's just great to hear that. Well, tell us a little bit about the future. What do you see with the future with Montserrat College of Art?
So the future for Montserrat is great. It's now, and we have two new programs that we're going to be rolling out for next year. One is called Games, Toy, and Play, which is more of it's our take on product design, which we're going to be rolling out next year. We also have what we call visual narrative, which is also going to have a writing component to it. That's going to take graphic design and creative writing and bring it together. We think that's exciting. We're also really excited about the fact that we've partnered with Endicott College. We just signed a partnership where, going back to the class of 2017, moving forward, if you graduated from Montserrat with a 3.0 or better, you will be admitted to their MBA program, their MED programs, or their Masters in Interior Architecture.
Wow.
So
that's exciting.
That was us about creating pathways for our students.
You and I would not be able to qualify for that.
That's true.
For that program.
So we're excited the fact that President DeSalvo and I were able to sign that last week.
That's awesome.
So excited to talk about that. Really,
And
for
just
the
a
first
collaboration
time.
with two local schools and two Beverly places.
Great opportunity
I think
for
that's
our
just
graduates.
outstanding. Yeah, that
Yeah,
just
it
is.
sounds like a lot of win-wins there.
That is just terrific. So we're gonna wrap the program up. But before I do that, if somebody that is watching this has any questions about the school or anything, how should they do that? What's the way to do that?
Well, they can go to the website, which is just montserrat.edu, easy to find. There's all of our programs are on there. Who to get in touch with is on there. Anybody is welcome to call me. I'm very responsive to phone calls and emails, and love to answer questions and talk about Montserrat all day long. One last thing I would like to mention, if we have just another second, is each spring or early summer, we have our outrageous fundraising art auction that the public is invited to buy tickets to and come. And that's our biggest fundraiser every year, and it features work by alumni, faculty, staff, and guest artists from all over New England and beyond, New York, sometimes all over the country. We have an alum from California who every year sends us an absolutely gorgeous oil painting. So it's a wonderful event. We know that it will be at Brookwood School again this year. We're working on a date now. It'll be either the very end of April or the beginning of June. So we're working on that date, and we'll let that date out as soon as we have it, and we'll publish it everywhere.
And I happen to know
and we
personally-
hope people will come. And
Well, a
you've
lot
been
of people
supporting
do,
it for a long
and
time.
Brookwood is a great place
the
to have
Rotary
it.
Club has been a big supporter of
Yeah.
the auction. It all goes to scholarship.
Yep. Terrific. Well, I just want to take this opportunity to thank our guests, Joe Broderick, Chief of Staff, Montserrat College of Art, Dr. Kurt Steinberg, President, Montserrat College of Art. Thank you so much for giving us your time. I think this was extremely informative, and we appreciate it very much. To my co-host, Mike Harrington, thank you, buddy. Good to see you. And thank you so much for joining us.